Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. We are officially live. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. Hello, everybody on the chat. We will have Spencer Fearon coming on shortly as our special guest for today on this live stream. How's everybody doing? We need to talk about predictions, and more predictions, and opinions matter. Facts matter. HK, counterpunch to you. Brandon, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. The small, the few, the accumulative. Counterpunch Boxing News community. Once we're at 20, then we're at 200, then we're at 3 and 4 and 5, and you know where. The Londoner, counterpunch to you. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. We'll let YouTube do their job and send notifications if they send notifications. Ryan Watterson, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Solo live. Yo, Kurt, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. We're just letting it load. We have Mr. Fearon coming in. He's finishing up another interview. Give him a little time. Then he's jumping over here so we can counterpunch, ask some questions about the prediction. Now, I've done my own prediction, which I have not personally posted it yet. It'll probably be tomorrow because, you know, I only put out so much content at one time. So it is what it is. Tough Nor or Tuffy Manor. Hi, Kurt. What's up? Counterpunch to you. Manny Cinny or Sing. Respect, Kurt. Manny, respect to you. The Londoner, ask him what he thinks about Yard in Tonde situation. We will ask all those questions because he will be on shortly, so you can ask him yourself. I will post the questions up. This is an efficient Q&A. This is how we do it. Around these parts, we're in the trenches. This is the trenches, people. Long-haired guy. Good evening to you, long-haired guy. Counterpunch to you. James Kaiser, been watching you. I believe you are in a tough spot. Really? How so? Brandon, Kurt, what's your favorite boxing weight class? Man, I don't have one. I don't have one. Gerard Johnson, ask him about Ika Barabucci. Okay. Temple at that. Yeah, Ika Barabucci is always a good subject to venture into. Jay Rodriguez, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó, Jay Rodriguez? ¿Todo bien contigo? ¿Todo bien? Dime. The truth will hurt posers. Okay. Yeah, the truth will set you free. This is a great boxing channel. Gerard Johnson, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. We'll just let everybody load if we come in. The boxing source, counterpunch to you. The boxing source says Counterpunch Boxing News. I think they're absolutely crap. All he does is talk shit about me on his channel. Fuck him. Brandon, Ennis versus Spence. Who you got? Spence. Ennis is good. He's a good prospect, but experience is a mother sucker. So you want to go where you know. You know what I'm saying? You want to go where you know. So a guy is a good prospect. He's up and coming, but then it's always levels to this. But who do we got? Who do we got? I want you guys' feedback. And matter of fact, there's nothing wrong with making a poll. So while we're here, we're going to make the poll. Sausages, Dirty Joe, and the BB Kids. Wow. Okay. You should get Bob Arum on more often. Yeah, I hear you. I don't want to get on that guy's channel. He's a cocksucker. Okay, let's see. All right, guys. Well, I'm creating the poll now before we bring a lot of people on. Terry Tibbs, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Solo Live or Soul Live. Mayweather versus Spence, prime for prime. Mayweather. He won't beat. He's not going to beat Mayweather, bro. You know what I mean? Now, I will give Spence. You're just not going to beat Spence. You know, I mean, you're not just going to run through Spence. But he would beat Spence. Spence is good at working the body, but what'll start happening, even Floyd will start timing the body punches, because the whole idea, Floyd will be quicker and faster, but you want to take air out of the tire. So what you want to do, you want to work the body of Floyd. And Floyd, he's going to be catching, shooting you. You're going to be hitting his arms. And as you hit his arms with a hard right or left, you know, like Spencer will try to do, he'll get countered with an uppercut or a left hook. You know, that right uppercut, that left hook, that straight right will be hitting him all night. And the weird part about that is Errol Spence will stop the body assault when he starts getting hit with those counters. Kurt, do you think Spence can give Canelo problems? To a certain degree. But again, I haven't seen anyone go to Spence's body like I know Canelo will do. Canelo will go to Spence's body, but Spence will target Canelo's body. You know, so it's I don't see a lot of people, even Golovkin, and Golovkin's a known, body puncher. He didn't do that with Canelo. And in times I seen, dude, you had the opportunity to throw these body punches, but you did not. So it tells me, like, okay, something must, because I ain't never been in there with Canelo or any of that shit. So something must tell me, like, well, maybe something with the upper body movement and the counterpunching problems Canelo will give you when you start trying that shit. Because once you try to go low, he's going to go high. Because Canelo's always looking for the holes. Any holes in your defense, Canelo's going to exploit. That's what makes him so effective. And he does work the body. And he'll work the body so much you'll be worried about body punching, then he'll hit you with a left hook. Let me do that again. There you go. He'll hit you with a left hook. Do you think Pac-Man wins? The Londoner. Man, I haven't seen Pac-Man since before Corona. I haven't seen him since this time last year. So how the hell should I know? I don't know what Pacquiao is about now. We just know he looks good in the gym. I mean, a lot of fighters look good in the gym, but we don't know what he's going to do. He hasn't been around for 2 years. Usyk will beat AJ in fight Fury. Wow, that would be a hell of a fight. And let the progression go. I mean, let it go. If that happens, That happens. You know, would I be surprised? No, because I keep telling you guys about Usyk. You've heard it here. I keep telling you guys about Usyk. Okay, I'm creating the poll right now. Okay. Canelo should finish his career with 60 wins. Let's see. So you think Pac-Man wins? Dude, I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you that. Press the like for more. Absolutely. Let's hit that like button as we come in. We have almost 70 people on the chat thus far. Let's hit that like button. What about Canelo and AB? Are you talking about Adrian Broner? Nah. Now, maybe about, let's say, prior to 13, Adrian Broner and Canelo would be a good fight. You know what would have been a good fight? Broner and Khan. You know what would have been a good fight? Khan and Mayweather. You know what would have been a good fight? Keith Thurman and Canelo back then, when they were both one in the bottom weight classes. Okay, let's see. My points, and I'm making sure I have every option, guys. Okay, there we go. Damn it. There we go. Boom. All right. Broner would KO King Khan. You know, that's, you know, it'd be a good fight because Khan, with those straight combinations, I think he would give him problems, especially if he starts to land with that long reach. You think Bivol can beat Canelo? There's a possibility, Brandon. There is a possibility. I honestly, I don't really, winning or losing doesn't bother me. Having a fair shake does. See that, like dehydration and all that? And see, you notice Canelo stopped doing that shit. You know, that was a De La Hoya thing. De La Hoya had that type of problem. Like he made Bernard Hopkins come down, 3 pounds, meet him at 157 for a middleweight fight. He made Bernard do that. Bernard took it and knocked him out for it. But, you know, that's the type of diva shit that he was accustomed to. And I think at the end of the day, I think he knows, and he's starting to believe in himself more. He's starting to speak English more. He's starting to do a lot of things more. Khan likes to go to sleep. He does like to sleep a lot, don't he? T-Bud really needs to be off the pound for pound list. He hasn't been fighting anyone, and it appears he will continue down that road. Waste of talent. Well, he needs to get away from Bob Arum real fast. He needs to get away from him real fast, because Bob's getting to the point he ain't even respecting him no more. You know, and that's what happens when you have, like he's done before, when you start taking fighters and their talent for granted. And that's what Bob's doing. Bob's done it a lot in his career. He has. You know, he's done it a lot in his career. You know what I mean? And I just created the poll, by the way. So, you know, we already have 50 votes. We have 50 votes in like less than a minute. That's what I'm talking about. Let's bring as many people over here. And here's the thing. I know there's not notifications coming to this live stream simply because everyone getting this community. You get 50 votes in a minute. That's crazy. Hey, Kurt, what is Z-Main agenda today? Z-Main agenda. I don't know about agenda. I know about certain things have happened that's been real strange. You remember the cat, Chris Colbert? That video's been deleted. De La Hoya and Wilder are doing pantyhose cabaret show. Even if you miss Khan and a breeze touches him, the boy will fall. Wow. Hold on just a second. Let's see. All right, that was Spence. So Spence is about to come on. So guys, if you have any questions, we're going to ask. We're going to chop it up the way we know how. We're going to get this party started. I'm going to send him the link, and he will be on over. All right. Just got to send it to him real quick. Yeah, Gmail. And there we go. Boom. All right. So we're waiting for Spencer to come aboard and join us in the trenches, people. Commentators, is he going to get up? Khan still dead. Hey, you know Khan, he's called out Kell Brook for a fight, and he admitted he ducked Brook all these years. You know, it just shows you, you know, that how these fighters work and how these fighters think, you know, and he thought to himself that he could, in fact, let's see. He could, in fact, like freeze out Brook, because he didn't want to get him paid. So here we are, guys. We're bringing the knowledge on.
How you doing, Kurt?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed.
That's good, man. You've been a busy guy, man. I've been seeing you. I've been seeing you over the WWW. You've been really putting it in.
Who, me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much, bro. I've been very busy, but I'm very grateful at the same time. You know how it goes.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's what it's about. Give thanks. Give thanks. So how you been, bro? Welcome to the show. Once again, everybody, we got over 100 people on, as you can see, and a lot of guys and a lot of people, rather, have a lot of questions to ask. We can ask those up. Let's chop it up. Let's get to it. We have the big fight this month. We had Josh Taylor doing his thing against Ramirez, because we haven't talked in a while. So
no, we haven't. We haven't. Yeah, you've been busy, going all over. Every time I see you, you're in the the Caribbean. If you're not in the Caribbean, then you're in Mexico. Then I'm saying, well, I'd like to see your passport. Maybe you've just been collecting those air mile free ticket travels or something.
There you go.
But you're out regular, so it's all good, man.
I write it off, man. I write it off each and every time. So, man, tell me. Oh my gosh. Look, Josh Taylor. How did he do? How did he do to you?
Josh Taylor did very well. But also, I've got to say, I was very, very surprised in how Ramirez fought, because Ramirez came up, he fought really hard. He had a very, very good game plan. But one thing which I've known about Josh Taylor from his early days as a professional is his adaptability. He can change things inside of a fight, you know?
Yeah.
And he's got a really good punch repertoire. So, and he goes downstairs to the body really well, and he doesn't panic under pressure, because when Ramirez was putting it on him, and he would put it on him, like in the early rounds, I had Ramirez up, and he switched up things, scored the knockdown, and then everything started to go in his favor. But yeah, great win. You got to think of he's a legit undisputed champion, right? Now you got to go through how many legit undisputed champions are there in the world today. So credit where it is due, because it's not like, you know, he went in the World Series of Boxing, he came out victorious, he picked up world titles in there, he beat good fighters in there. You know what I mean? Barachek is a good fighter. You know what I mean? Ragaru, good fighter. He beat good fighters along the way in that. And then to say, right, to cap it, he could have been cool and say, listen, man, like, I'm the unified champ. He said, no. There's another guy who's got a WBO belt, and I want that as well. And he went down and he fought amiably, and we got to give the guy a lot of credit. But I also got to give Ramirez credit as well. Ramirez fought a good fight.
Right. He did. He did. I mean, he showed he was durable. You know, he wasn't the most talented in there, but he showed he was durable.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
very tough guy, but he got surprised. So even tough guys get surprised sometimes. So, you know, I can respect his consistency at least.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
Yeah, he did do his thing. You just, you know, I want to talk about that fight because we had some controversy about the scoring and the referee, rather. And what do you think about how the referee that night?
Do you know what? I don't want to take away nothing from Josh Taylor's win. And I don't want to focus too much on the negative or what happened in that fight when it came to the refereeing, because it was a really good fight. And you know what? Referees are referees. They're just there to officiate, right?
Right.
Sometimes they can call it wrong, sometimes they can call it right, and sometimes they can be mediocre. So credit where it's due to both of the combatants, how they fought in that fight, and that's where I want to leave it. I don't want to give too much shine onto these referees, because if I said to you, what was the name of the referee, you couldn't tell me. So I ain't going to give him no more props. He's had these shine later to him.
Right. You know what? And out of respect for that notion, I won't. But we know that was a lot of over officiating in that fight, to say the least.
You know what it is? There's certain guys that can be a job's worth. I don't know if you use that terminology in America, where they just try to do too hard on their job. They just wind you up. And unfortunately, that's what happened. I mean, that's what happened in that fight, and it is what it is.
Fair play. But nonetheless, moving on. Speaking also of Josh Taylor, though, Leonard Ellaby said he didn't know who the Josh Taylor was.
But he's right for saying that, because Josh Taylor's profile isn't a big profile.
Right.
It's going to be real. In the Europes, he's known, but even in his home country, he's not really like, he ain't a breakout star. We respect for the things that what he's done, but things are going to change right now. You know, things are going to change. You're going to see him more regularly, like on big talk shows, like, you know, Jonathan Ross show, which is a big show in the UK, Big Nasty show. This is what's going to happen for him. So it's going to start to grow for him. So, and when it does start to grow for him, then we're going to realize, that he can be a crossover star, because I know him personally. He's a very funny guy, very funny guy.
Yeah, I've heard the stories about Josh Taylor. He's very colorful, because I've heard things that that make that believable. But the irony of that, the counterpunch that, he says that we don't know who he is, but obviously he does. And then if that's the case, you're on behind the gloves and fight hype saying you don't know who a person is. So obviously we're getting to know who he is.
Yeah. And
that's the irony.
All he's got to do is just continue performing the way that he is. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we just take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, they said the same thing about Wilder once upon a time, didn't we not?
We certainly did.
So there you go,
that was a counterpunch to the counterpunch.
There you go. Absolutely. What do you think about Wilder's training, Deontay Wilder training now? What do you think about the new Malik Scott, and what do you think about the formation of his growth as the new fight grows near?
Well, you got to think the new fight is we're 23 days away. 22 for me in the UK, right? It's not far away.
Right.
I think it's good because it seems like now he's listening. So you know what I mean?
Right.
He's listening. So I can't knock him. He's listening.
Yeah, I gathered the same result, that he is doing what Malik, because you can tell when someone's following instructions versus cheerleading. You know, JD's wasn't doing that. JD's was, oh yeah, hey, give me this. Yeah, great. No,
You know what? I'm not knocking JD's.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing his job, and he must have done something because he was with Deontay Wilder from start to him, and he's still there now to present day. What do you have? 9 title defenses. You can't knock a guy for that. Successful defenses. You can't knock a guy for that. You can't knock a guy for for doing any of those kind of things. We got to give him his props. Do I think he's a good trainer? I don't. I think like Deontay Wilder got set in his ways, thinking like, all I've got to do is just turn up and hit guys on the chin and they're gone.
Right.
And unfortunately, he came up against a guy who he did hit on the chin and it wasn't gone. He was still there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So that is it.
Well, I think versus, and this is the thing, you know, you're saying what Mark Breland said Deontay Wilder didn't do. Now Deontay's doing the opposite of what Mark Breland said. Do you think that he's doing that because he wants to progress or to prove a point, or both?
Both.
Yeah.
Right. He wants to prove a point, but he also wants to progress at the same time. Because I think when Mark Breland was turning around saying like he don't listen, you try and tell him stuff and da da da. I believe that Mark Breland was actually right at that time. Like Deontay Wilder was caught up in his hype, and it's very, very difficult to tell an unbeaten fighter who can punch like he can. That, well, maybe we need to switch up this, or maybe we could go do that, or blah. Maybe they don't want to listen to that. But I think now with Deontay Wilder, he knows that, well, I can't just turn up and knock guys out. I can't, because I can't just be a one-trick pony. I've got to come with something else. I've got to add something else to my repertoire. Right. Which is pretty unfair on him as well, because it's not like he's saying I've got to add something to my repertoire, because when he fought Romain Stavern to win the WBC crown, he actually boxed. He boxed to orders. I mean, he has Stavern down late as well, and he most probably could have stopped him, but Stavern held it for dear life. So he needs to revert back to that. But like I said, he wants to be this fan-friendly KO artist who goes out and knocks out everyone, and you know, it is what it is. Now he knows that doesn't work, and he's being taught things now, which is nice to see. But is it a little bit too much too late? We shall see, and we shall see how he performs in this Tyson Fury fight.
You know, my counterpunch to that is, I think that the question is, did Deontay Wilder know how to do the things that he was practiced?
1 second, mate.
All right. to counter to that, who is Barrios? Yeah, that's true. I was going to make that point here in a second, but to counter, I think it depends on, did Deontay fully understand and know how to do the things that he didn't want to do or he refused to do? Like jump rope. Obviously, you knew, looking at his rhythm, he didn't do it a lot, but he knew how to do it. So the thing is he capable of doing these things just because he didn't want to, or did he not practice at all to the point where he's not able to physically do these things just out of creature of habit because he hasn't been doing it in repetition versus not knowing how to do it at all?
Well, it's a thing like if you don't do something in repetition, especially in this sport, you're gonna lose it. You know what I mean? Because we don't use, you lose. And so certain things that Deontay Wilder hasn't used, you're going back to the drawing board now. It's not like, oh, well, you know how to do it. No, you got to continuously keep on doing this stuff and doing this stuff and doing this stuff till it becomes second, third, and fourth nature to you.
Right.
Unfortunately for Deontay Wilder, like I said, he got caught up in the hype and the hysteria of like, oh, he must be the hardest punching heavyweight of all time. He must. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Got carried away with the hype. That's easy. That's easy to do when you got people around you with, high fiving and chest bumping. That's what happens.
Yeah.
You don't have someone saying, you know what, I think you could work on this, Deontay. I don't like how you dropped your right hand when you throw it. I don't like how you take a picture with it. And in fact, that's what got him countered when he threw that right hand. He thought, that's all I need to do is throw the right hand and land it. But what happens if you miss? It's almost like shooting a gun and seeing did I get the target? Well, if there's something coming back, you got problems. And he had problems February 22nd. So, was another question I wanted to add to that, ask you regarding that. Where do you think Deontay is at now mentally about the conference? Let's talk about that. What do you think about that?
About the what?
The conference, the only conference that Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder has. What was your first mind or thought when you see Deontay Wilder say absolutely nothing besides the poem? Now, he did say the poem. He did say what he had to say, and then he sat down. What did you think after that?
Yeah, I think Wilder is saying, look, I can't really get to verbals with this guy because Tyson Fury will keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. Number one, and number two, I think that what has he got to say? Seriously, he's thinking like, I'm not going to say nothing because it's better than not say anything. Because whatever I say, the journalists are going to talk shit about me anyway. Or certain times, Deontay Wilder says something, and sometimes I get what he's saying, but it can be misconstrued as well. So he's thinking, like, I'm not going to say anything. I just want to go and fight. And you can see he actually wants to fight. You know what? Regardless, even if Deontay Wilder doesn't win, right? He just knows that he's got to put in a better performance than he did in the second fight.
Right.
And then he can have some form of moral victory, right? But he's thinking to himself, if I put in a better performance than I did in the second fight, my better performance, I should be able to win. So we shall see. It's like after the fight, when they've been interviewed, he said, what was it? Tyson Fury said, oh, you caught me with a shot. He was like, bloody hell, like I knew, right? So I think Deontay Wilder this fight is against Deontay Wilder is against himself. It's not Tyson Fury, right? Because we heard all the excuses, and you know what? Some were valid in his mind, some were just ludicrous. So now he's got to say, well, all you people who doubted me, well, I'm going to go give it. So it's going to be one of those ones where, regardless of the outcome, Deontay Wilder knows that I have to perform better than I did nearly 2 years ago, February. That's all that he's got to go and do.
That makes sense. Like Brandon, he asked, well, Spence, where does Wilder go if he loses?
Depending on the performance that he puts in. This is still heavyweight boxing, and he's still exciting, right? If he was to get whitewashed and knocked out in 2 rounds, then it'd be very, very difficult for Deontay Wilder to come back. But when you can punch like Deontay Wilder, he's still exciting, and people would pay to see Deontay Wilder try and knock out someone.
Well, these J.H. Lethal, don't ask Spencer about AJ. He's a part of the Fury's team.
No, but I'm not part of the Fury team. I'm part of the boxing team. Period. Right? I happen to work for MTK Global, where I run their corporate social responsibility, which is their giving arm of the company. But I have to be unbiased when it comes to boxing, especially when it comes to Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. And I know who could win, and I know who should win, and I also got a sneaky feeling who's gonna win. So it is what it is. I see flaws in both men. But I see flaws in Tyson Fury that I believe that Anthony Joshua could exploit and badly exploit as well, if he doesn't enter a boxing match. Okay. But if he enters into a boxing match with Tyson Fury, then you've just given Tyson Fury all his props to beat you.
Right. Spencer knows Fury is number one until proven otherwise.
Yeah, but you see, listen to me. I'm saying technically, yes, Fury is number one. But resume, Joshua's number one. Right?
Interesting point. Yeah.
Joshua has beaten more top 10 contenders than what Tyson Fury has. Go on. Wow. Go look at the record. So
I mean, that's safe to say him and Wilder put together, honestly.
Right. So, you know what I mean? If we look at like going back to back against top contenders, Dillian White's higher than Wilder, and Dillian White's higher than. Well, I gotta give Wilder his dues because he did knock out Lewis Ortiz twice, right? But Dillian White has been more consecutive against top-rated opponents than these guys. But fair play to Tyson Fury for taking the Wilder fight. You know what I mean? You got seriously. He fought two guys that you wouldn't even hire for sparring. Then after those two guys, after being away on a hiatus, then he jumps in. You know what I mean? Then he jumps in and he fights Deontay Wilder, and he put in a gallant performance there. I had him winning that fight, irrespective of the knockdowns. So, yeah, you gotta call it what it is, and you gotta give the dues to Tyson Fury on that performance.
Let me add to that. And I want to ask you this question, Spence. When you heard that Tyson Fury called out Deontay Wilder and Deontay Wilder accepted that fight with Tyson Fury, did you really take that seriously, that Tyson Fury was going to win that fight?
I could show you the videos of me saying that I had Tyson Fury going to win that fight.
Really?
The first fight, yep. I was in the Boxing News, which is our local weekly trade paper, where I said this fight's getting points. And I said, well, regardless of the result, Tyson Fury's already won for the fact of what he's overcome. You got to think at that time there, Tyson Fury lost Terence Crawford in bodyweight to get into the ring to fight Deontay Wilder. So yeah, I said that. I think I said that on IFL, but yeah, definitely. So and I had him winning that fight. That's how I think he could do it, because I know that he's a fighting man, and like people like to be smart after the fact. They do. They really do. Human nature. They like to be smart after the fact. But no, sir. I want to be smart way before the fact, and that's why I had Tyson Fury winning that fight. And as far as I'm concerned, the first fight, Tyson Fury did win the fight. Big up Bobby Wright on here, man. Big up my brother. And that's how I had it. Thank you, Bobby Wright. Bobby Wright's telling you, Spence said Tyson was winning from the start. Exactly. I remember telling guys, maybe they didn't want to listen to me, but yeah, I was telling guys from day dot.
You know what? And I was absolutely wrong, because I had Tyson Fury being out of the ring that long, regardless of the two tune-ups. I don't think he was ready, because I know that last fight, I think the Pianetta fight, he got some rounds in. I get that. I respect that. He needed that, but I didn't think that was enough. I think Wilder accepted that fight because he figured that Tyson Fury was a has-been, like he thought he was. And since he thought he was, he took that fight on the premise of knocking Fury's head off.
Everybody thought he was a has-been, and it was done.
Including me.
Everybody thought that.
I don't mind saying I was wrong. If I was wrong, hey, I was wrong. But you got it right. That's why the fight is right.
Yeah, something like that, man.
What do you think about overall? Okay, your prediction of Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Who do you think is going to win this fight?
I don't think it's a good fight for Tyson Fury, because he's had the last victory over him. I don't think it's a good fight. I think it's going to be a very hard fight. I think it's going to be a difficult fight. Just being real. Because he's had those two victories over him, and the manner of the victory, or 2 victories. Well, one was a draw, but I thought he won that first one as well. So,
right.
Yeah.
A lot of people see it 2-0, so I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
So whether Tyson Fury can be up for that fight, I'm not rightly sure. But if he's up for that fight, then he's gonna win. And just on his boxing technique alone, Tyson Fury should be winning this fight.
Tyson Fury should still get him.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tyson Fury's in your book. Right now, I actually made a poll because I care what the people say. It's 841 votes. Scratch that, 800 votes. As of now, Tyson wins by KO 61%, and that is turning. So we'll see. We'll see who wins on that. Moving on, we have Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk. Jonathan Banks. How well does AJ fare against Fury if he smokes Usyk? Well, the question is, for me, what do you think about that thus far? It's AJ.
So, how well does AJ fare against Fury? Or
the
AJ Usyk fight. The AJ.
That's if. So first things first, who wins out of Usyk and AJ? What do you think about that fight, that matchup?
You know what? I've got AJ winning that fight for the simple fact it's gonna be an incredible Usyk, but Usyk has not impressed me as a heavyweight. I haven't watched Usyk and I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness gracious, like I'm looking at something incredibly special. When I watched him at cruiserweight, I thought I was watching something special. But he didn't impress me in the Chaz Witherspoon fight. And he also did not impress me against Derek Chisora. I thought Derek Chisora gave him a very, very good run. I thought Derek lost the fight, but I thought Derek gave him a fantastic run. So me watching that, I'm not. That doesn't fill me with confidence.
Right.
For him going in with Anthony Joshua, especially Joshua knowing the importance of this fight, even though he knows the importance of every fight, but the importance of this fight. And I think that he's a physically bigger man and he's going to have to use that bully boy tactics to be the physically bigger man. So I've got Joshua winning. But then also, it was muted that Usyk and Joe Joyce were going to fight each other, right?
Yeah.
Fight didn't happen because we know why it didn't happen now, because Tyson Fury, AJ fight fell through, and then now Usyk's now maintained his number one position for the WBO, and now he's fighting for the WBO for the WBO title against Anthony Joshua. But I had Joe Joyce beating Usyk, even though they box in the Super Series as amateurs.
Right.
But I had Joe Joyce beating Usyk because, like I said, Usyk hasn't impressed me.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen the two fights, and I think the extra weight. Has been a factor for Usyk. I think him, and then now he's like at 230, so he's even bigger than he was when he was in there with Chisora. That doesn't fill me with confidence. I think maybe a couple knockdowns, maybe not a knockout, maybe a stoppage. But I think if Usyk can overcome that, and he's able to press Joshua and swarm him like Andy did, he may have a good chance of an upset. But that's only if he hurts Joshua. If he can hurt Joshua like Andy did, he has a good chance to add those punches.
He don't punch like Andy Ruiz. Let's be real.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
No, he's definitely not a hooker. No.
Right.
But the irony is, who would you pick from Andy Ruiz fighting Usyk?
Pardon me?
Who would you pick out of Usyk and Andy Ruiz if they fought?
Good fight.
Yeah.
Good fight. I would slightly favor Usyk to outplay him.
Yeah, see, that's the hell of a thing. You know, the styles make the fights, not necessarily You know, yeah.
Because
I always
Richard DJ, thank you for donating on the super chats, which goes to Kurt. I get not 1 penny from it, right? But like, when he's asking me, like, I actually am related to Phil Fearon from Galaxy. We're actually cousins. So yeah. So back in the 80s, there was this group called Galaxy. Phil Fearon was the lead singer. Phil Fearon's grandfather. Phil Fearon's grandfather, my grandfather, second cousin, first or second cousin, something like that. But yeah, but he's a Fearon. He comes from in Jamaica. There's a parish called Clarendon. That's where his family's from. That's where my family's from. So his family was like half a mile down the road from my family. So yes, I'm related to Phil Fearon from Galaxy. But the maddest thing is we have never ever met each other. But
okay, I was going to ask. That's my next question. Have you ever met him?
Never ever met, but we are actually cousins. There's a guy called Ray Fearon, who's an actor as well. He's my cousin. We meet up quite regularly. He's a big actor, being in a movie with Jackie Chan. He was on one of our biggest soap operas in the UK called Coronation Street. So Ray's a regular on that as well. Was a regular on that. He's no longer on it. So we're all related. The Fearon family, we say, Fearon, especially how it's spelled. We say, are you from Clarendon? I know that they're related to me.
Gotcha. Ryan Waterford. Usyk has accepted a rematch clause with AJ. Does that second fight happen only if Usyk wins or regardless of the winner?
No, because I don't think Usyk's going to win the first fight. So I can't see that happening. And now that with the zone thing going on, they're trying to sell the biggest fights, and I think AJ's got he's got one more fight with Sky, 1 or 2 more fights, but they're trying to get him over onto the zone platform where Eddie Hearn's gone to now. He's left Sky TV, so I believe that they will try their best to they'll try their best to stay away from that fight. I don't think that fight's going to be an easy fight.
King Mike Hall, Andy hurt AJ behind the head.
He did, but that don't matter. You mean he did the shot he did? He got caught at the back of the head with a shot, which discombobulated him, and yeah, but it wasn't even that. It was the sneaky things that Andy Ruiz was doing in the first fight, like meeting AJ with a jab for a tight guard. So if AJ was to come back, he's gonna parry the shot. It was a good performance by Andy Ruiz in that first fight. Regardless of like he got hit where he got hit, that's got you know what I mean? Yeah, a rabbit punch essentially. But regardless of that, did he intentionally try to throw a rabbit punch? No, he didn't. He threw a shot, it hit him, it hurt him. And it is what it is. That's the end of it.
So you're saying that the punch that he hit him with, the punch from the gods, was a rabbit punch?
Don't watch the fight.
Yeah, I've seen it many times.
Go watch the fight. But regardless of that, it would make no difference anyway. It was his night, that night, and you can't take nothing away. Matter of fact, I think that was an excellent fight. It's a really excitable fight. Especially like how Andy Ruiz got dropped and we thought the fight was going to be over. Eddie Hearn jumping up and the whole crowd in Madison Square Garden thinking, yeah, it's a wrap. Right. And then Andy Ruiz said, "No, to hell with that, man. I'm giving it everything." And he did.
Right. He did.
Yeah, he did. He done his bits, and you know what? We shall see the continuation of him now, what he does in his career. Because I like to see Andy Ruiz and Dillian White. That'd be a great fight.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that. Do you think that fight happens? I mean, in the future, since Dillian White's.
You know what? I'm just gonna. It's like, what more can Dillian White ask to do? He's done everything that has been asked for him to go and do. You know what I mean? He's even lost fights, come back and knocked out the guy that he's lost to. You know what I mean? He's still sitting down, so he's sitting pretty down in the WBC in the rankings. But I mean, what else is Dillian White to do?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know if there's anything he can do. I don't think there's anything he can't do. I mean,
yeah, it's sad.
like to be honest with you, I mean, because between him, Mauricio, and the ever-changing rules over there, I don't know. You know, it's just it's wild. But I think him fighting Jermaine Franklin. What do you think about that fight? Because I personally don't like that idea of that fight.
Dude.
Dillian White and Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine Franklin is the targeted fighter when he comes over here to make his second return to the U.S. It's Jermaine Franklin. That's the word, and that's the fighter that they're throwing around.
Okay, I thought it was going to be
Trevor Bryant.
I thought it was going to be Trevor Bryant for the WBA regular title.
I mean, it should be, but I mean, that's the first word we heard. The first name that was dropped was Jermaine Franklin. Okay, that's what sources.
You know, I'm going to keep it 100. I don't know a lot about him, so I can't even comment on that one. I do not know a lot about him. So
I don't know him at all, Spence. So
right. So exactly. So I'm not going to sit down and lie like I know. I don't know the guy. So I mean, it's kind of a waste of the time for me. But you know what? As much as it's a waste, like I said, what more is Dillian White to do? He's fought so many top contenders, so many ranked fighters, and I think it's time like he should be able to get slipped in to be able to fight for a title.
I mean, about time. I agree because he's been interim for forever. He fought like hell to get it. He fought like hell to keep it, and when he lost it, he fought like hell to get it back, and he got it back.
And he got it back.
So so give him the just due of getting what he's supposed to. You know, I don't like the idea of now Wilder's the number one if he's mandatory. Well, Tyson Fury didn't supposed to be mandatory when they made him mandatory. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't like that. I didn't understand it. I've ranted about it. I don't want to spend too much energy on it because I know what the truth is and I know what's right and wrong. And Dillian White deserves his shot. But coming over to fight a guy, which he's been and had a reputation for fighting all the top guys, as we just gave him credit for minutes ago, I don't think he should be fighting Jermaine Franklin. I just think he's like a handpicked guy. I think that's more of someone else's tactic, not Dillian White's.
Yep.
You know, shout out to Off the Canvas Boxing with those pounds. Big up to you both. Legends in the game, and the knowledge of you both is unquestionable. Big inspirations. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. You know, the knowledge.
Thank you very much, Off the Canvas. Thank you.
You know, appreciate the love, brother. Appreciate the love. Now, what happens to Usyk if he loses to Joshua?
What happens to Usyk if he loses it? There's still good fights for him. George Parker's a good fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we shall sit down and we'll kind of see. You know what I mean? We shall sit down and kind of see.
Yeah. Charles Martin called out Dillian White about 2 days ago. What do you think about that fight? Charles Prince Martin.
You know what? Give me a break, man. I saw Dillian White say like Prince Charles has got more chance of beating me than Charles Martin. So, you know, that fight doesn't interest me at all. I'm just gonna be real. You know, I mean, Dillian White versus Michael Hunter, that fight does interest me. But I'm saying, what is Dillian White to do? It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Guys should get a shot at the title now. So it's nice of Michael Hunter and everything else, but I'm kind of getting bored of how things are being circulated.
Okay. I need to ask you a question. I'm going to bring Michael Hunter on the show sometime this week.
Okay.
And I want to hear it from him, but I want to hear your take on it, your opinion. Why do you think that fight didn't happen between him and Hrgovic? It was an elimination. He was getting the lion's share of the money.
My friend, I'm going to tell you something right now. There was a contract that I sent to him, right? And it was a lot of money. And he can't deny it and say he didn't get it from me because he did, right? And if he did, right, which was sent to him, and he turned it down. He didn't take the fight, right? So I don't know whatever reason he didn't want to fight. But what I do know is, like, in boxing, you can get people who do greatly suffer from paranoia and think like, well, why are they offering me this amount of money? Or what's the trap in it? Or or blah, 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 blah. But it was offered to him and he didn't take it. And then we see him fighting, he's meant to be fighting on Triller against some foreign guy that we've never heard of. So, Michael knows I like Michael. You know what I mean? But he also knows, like, it was offered. You know what I mean? It was offered, and it was a lot of money.
So that's just a big question mark. Only he could tell us.
Right.
Because
so whatever reason that he didn't feel or whatever not, you know what I mean? It is what it is. And then sometimes fighters can be their worst own enemy. You can be one smart or two smart, but you can't be three smart. So sometimes they can be your like, you know what I mean? You were with Al Heyman, that didn't work out. You was with Eddie Hearn, then that didn't work out. You know what I mean? Now you're trying to do this thing on your own. I'm saying you could actually be wasting your career because you're a damn good fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I'm with you. I'm definitely
when someone comes to you with something that was genuine, and it was very genuine, right? And I got contact to say, all right, then make contact with him and let's see if we can put this together. And it didn't happen.
Was he favored to beat Hrgovic?
No, I think the general consensus that Hrgovic was going to beat him, right? Yeah, but in Hrgovic is a good fighter, but he's an untested fighter, right? And one thing we do know that Michael Hunter can fight. No ifs or buts, he can fight. He can generally fight, right? He's got good punch repertoire. You know, he's got good distance, and he also knows how to gauge action. Like, you know, I could be down in this round. I got to put up something a bit bigger, and where he can switch up things. So, you know, he's good at reading fights. He's got very good boxing IQ. So, and Hrgovic is untested, but a damn good fighter. But no, it didn't happen.
Do you think that curved his perception possibly because he wasn't the favorite fighter? Or?
Well, I think in this age now, it's like, we can get drawn into social media. I've been guilty of it myself, right? And as you're drawn into social media and the stuff that goes on within social media, you can kind of listen to the fans. You can get swayed by the fans. Like, oh, you're gonna get beat. You're gonna get beat. It takes a very, very strong individual to turn around and say, I'm listening to this foolishness. I'm gonna get on with it and go fight and go give it what I can go give and come out victorious. Maybe it was that. Maybe he thought like, I'm very highly ranked. I'll just wait it out. I'm gonna get my world title shot. I'm gonna win it. Right? I don't need this fight. I fought tough guys, which he has done. Gotta give him his dues for that. You know what I mean? The unlucky draw against Povetkin, and then Povetkin comes out his very next fight, and then he knocks out Dillian White. That shows you how good a fighter he is because he actually won that fight. It wasn't a draw. So we'll see.
Yeah, he actually, his star power spiked after that Povetkin performance against Dillian White, you know, and then now people started looking and veering towards Michael Hunter and like, hey, well, Michael Hunter, you know, that wasn't you. You didn't get knocked out. In fact, a lot of people like yourself thought he won. So, you know, he got a draw, just like Golovkin got a draw against Canelo. But a lot of people, and of course, the masses believe Golovkin beat Canelo. So,
you know what? It was a good fight, you know. It was a very good fight, and I could see the argument why it was given a draw. I could. But in the second fight, I had Canelo winning that fight.
Yeah, he did a lot better in the first fight, and he changed his strategy. So,
yeah.
You know, I mean, that I wouldn't argue on the second fight as much as the first. But then again, you know, there was no winner on the first fight. So what are you going to do at the end of the day? Right. JH Lethal E, he said, Spencer, a completely left field question. Style-wise, Babbitt versus Wilder. I've been playing it over and over in my head, and I like Babbitt's chances. What do you think?
No, there's levels to this. And as much as Deontay Wilder doesn't demonstrate a lot of technical prowess, but there's levels to this fact that he's been in there at those big nights, right? And so I would have Deontay Wilder winning that fight. I think it's too early for Babik. Babik is a good fight. He's exciting, but it's a bit too early for him.
Yeah, I seen him. I think the first time I saw him was on a DAZN card, and I seen holes all in that in that defense.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, really quick, what do you think about Wilder White?
When I think about it, I think there's a reason why Deontay Wilder didn't fight Dillian White in the first place. Right, he was #1 contender for like 1,022 days or something. There's a reason why he didn't get a shot. There's a reason why Wilder didn't fight him. There was a reason. I'm just being real.
Right.
So yeah, especially at a time where Wilder was riding on this crest wave of mad success with the stupendous knockouts that he's been performing in. But there's something about Dillian White's toughness that I'm saying, well, you know what? You couldn't. Dillian's got a good boxing brain. He studies a lot of boxing. So if that fight was to happen now, I think, Dillian White could possibly come out victorious against Deontay Wilder. But I'd like to see what Deontay Wilder's got left. And we're going to see in 22 days' time. We're going to see. We're going to see what you got to show us what you have left in the tank and where your desires at, and then we'll see from there. But I think Dillian White is an improving fighter, and he so truly wants it. And I'm tired to keep on saying this, but I'm going to keep on saying it again, that he should be able to get a shot.
Interesting point. Thoughts on Helenius Kaunaki fight, the rematch? That was an upset of last year.
It was. I like Kaunaki, though. I like his style of fighting. I do. You see, like the thing with Helenius has taken certain fights because he needed the money. And I remember a few years back when Helenius was this hot prospect. So I still see Helenius coming out victorious again in this fight. That's how I see it.
You think Kaunaki is gonna work on his improvement defensive-wise?
Yeah, well, Kaunaki is gonna have to, but you're dealing with a tall guy who's got a very good jab and can punch as well. So I've got Helenius coming out victorious.
Yorkie Elliott.
Right, Spence, did you ever meet the late, great Kirtland Lang? I heard he went to live on the streets, poor guy. Kirtland Lang was actually a superb fighter. I don't know if you know who he is, Kurt. Kirtland Lang was he's a former.
He got a win over Roberto Duran once upon a time. Yeah.
1982. Yeah, he boxed fantastic that night. And what happened was Don King stopped talking to Mickey Duff. Mickey Duff was a famous fight promoter and manager. And he said, you want a fight for him to go in against. He said, I've got this kid, Kirtland Lang. Kirtland Lang previously got knocked out twice in the 9th round by a guy called Colin Jones for the British welterweight title. After winning the fight hands down, he had a really peculiar style of boxing, hands down, and he'd pop his shots from hands down. He'd be there. Very good fighter. Was originally from Nottingham and came down to live in London. Really, really good fighter. He was a national champion in the amateurs. He passed away about a month ago now. And Yorkie, I got to meet him quite a few times. And one of my fighters, Darren Hamilton, who was the former British junior welterweight champion, he actually dated Kirtland Lang's daughter for a little while.
Really?
But Kirtland Lang was a superb fighter. But he wasn't a really dedicated fighter. He was a guy he was a Jamaican guy that used to like to party and stuff like this. A very famous story of him It's like he got a phone call up, like, he was in a party, and his trainer finds him in a party because his trainer got a phone call saying, "Look, we got a fight for you tonight. Someone's falling out." So he goes and fights at York Hall, which is a famous venue, knocks out the guy, and then comes back to the party. It's mad. So yeah, Kurt Lang was just a really, really cool fight.
It's good. How old was he when he passed?
I think it was like Kurt Lang was, what was he? I think it was like 55 or something. Like, it wasn't old. Wow. Like he fell into ill health, and he was in a old people's home, in a hostel, and he passed away. We don't even know what the cause of death was, but he passed away. It was sad for the boxing community. It's mad because the man that used to manage Nigel Benn, Ambrose Mendy for years, and this is when I promoted, said, yeah, we should do a dinner for Colonel Lang. We should do a dinner for Colonel Lang. And we never got around to it because sometimes you take things for granted that they're alive. You know what I mean? I know they're not on the best times, and like, yeah, we go send them some money or something, but yeah. It was sad the way that he passed away. Yeah, very sad.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate. I hate to hear that. Like nursing homes, they personally depress me. But I don't like the idea of them. But I mean, I understand. It is what it is. Speaking of known death causes, does anybody know what in the Hades happened to Marvin Hagler?
No, we don't. They're saying it's natural causes. Originally, we saw a tweet out by, was it a tweet or on the Instagram of Tommy Hearn saying that it was reverberations from taking the COVID jab, but which the family profusely denied. So we don't know the causes. So we're going to say natural causes, but all we do know is that Marvin Hagler is no longer here with us. An incredible fight, man. Such an incredible fight. Imagine you going 50 fights before you get a world title shot.
It's crazy.
Unheard of in today and in today's realms. Like, you went 50 fights before you fought for a world title. 50 fights. Yeah, crazy.
That's a lot of fights, hard work, dedication, and no influence and no real true pull, no power. You know what I mean? Because you don't fight that many fights with someone that's known on the level. That. It's crazy, but I mean, that's definitely worth mentioning, and I'm glad you mentioned it because people need to be informed of what people went through as fighters. That's the important thing. Couple more questions for you, Spence. It's a fight that I'm excited to see: Frank Sanchez versus Efe Ajagba. What do you think of that fight?
That's a wicked fight, man. That is a. When we say like, let's watch a fun fight, that's gonna be a fun fight. But I like Ajagba,
right?
With his flaws and everything else, but I like Ajagba. So yeah, I'll be studiously sitting down and looking forward to watch that fight.
Oh wow!
And I mean studiously. That's crazy.
Right.
Kurt Lang and Marvin Hagler both died at age 66.
Wow. Huh.
Oh man.
That's crazy. So that means they had to be born the same year then. I take it because it's the same year.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, that's something I didn't know. Because I didn't know Kirkland Lang well.
Kirkland Lang was it. Seriously, go watch his fight. Go watch Kirkland. I remember, who was it? Go and watch his fight against Roberto Duran. And even though Roberto Duran was thought, this is going to be a soft touch and maybe never trained, it's still Roberto Duran. And he got the win over Roberto Duran. It was an incredible upset.
We got some capping. Frank Sanchez is 50 years old.
Yeah.
And he has on paper age 28. I think he's 15-0. Yeah, well, 18-0. And what do you think? Do you think he's actually 28? Because the stigma around Cuban fighters of the age.
Yeah, bro, they're all old. I remember Lewis Ortiz's spot with Lennox Lewis. So work that one out.
You said what now?
Luis Ortiz is a spot with Lennox Lewis, so work that one out. Lennox Lewis has been retired for 20 years.
I mean, are you serious?
I'm telling you.
So Lennox Lewis used to spar with Luis Ortiz.
Yeah, man. So when I look
you know, I've heard things with Joe Louis and so.
So when I look on Luis Ortiz, he looks old, and it was mad because like when he came to the UK, he boxed Dave Allen.
Right.
Warhorse, he was amazingly popular. I remember seeing him afterwards, and he had like his baseball cap on. He just looked like an old man trying to look young. You know the ones? Yeah, baseball cap on, jeans. You know what I mean, a pair of sneakers, and a leather coat. And I looked at him. And I said, "Boy, you just look like an old man. You know, like you see the granddads trying to look young. You just look old."
Well, you know, because I mean, you know, he has he had the Spencer Fearon for a while. He grew his hair out for the last Wilder fight.
Okay.
You know, he had that. Like,
it's suited him for a little bit. I'm just grateful that I can still grow my hair hasn't receded that badly. So I'm just I'm just grateful that I still got hair on my head and I can grow it. You know?
Okay, so when did he like? How long ago did he spar Lennox Lewis?
I don't know, but I know he sparred. I know he sparred. Someone's taking a piss. Luis Ortiz was at the Catskill sparring Mike Tyson in '85. Now you're taking liberties now. You know what I mean? JH Lethal, you're taking liberties. But you know, I know that for a fact. He's sparred Lennox.
Okay, so he sparred Lennox when you mean when Lennox was fighting?
Yeah, tell him of his career. Yeah, he could have just been an amateur coming through or whatever, but I know they sparred.
I mean, even though that's still 20 years, Spence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said the tail end of his career. So that when did his last fight he fought Vitali? When was that? 04?
Yeah, 04 was his last fight.
So that's what?
No, sorry, 03. That was 03. That wasn't 04.
It was 03.
It was 03.
03 then. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's 03 and it's 2021.
No, yeah. 04. So yeah.
Okay. So it's what, 17 years ago?
Yeah, it's a long time ago, man.
That's 20 years.
Yeah.
So what did that make? What did that make Ortiz? It depends on how old he was at the time.
What makes Ortiz is old. That's what it makes him. That's what it makes him, bro.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I thought you were just joking. I swear, I really thought you were just joking about that. But yeah, man, it was another question I had for you. I mean, Efe Ajagba and Frank Sanchez. You know what that reminds me of? You remember Lawrence Claybay versus the Black Rhino ATM? They fought on the undercard of Lennox Tua.
That was a wicked fight as well. That was a wicked fight. I remember that fight. That fight went points. They just stuck it on each other.
Right. And that's exactly what I thought of. I thought of like fights because I was on the undercard, and that fight indeed was better than the main event. So
yeah, but just a clarification here. David Tua at the time, HBO, Larry Merchant was saying that he's the best heavyweight in the world. Mm-hmm. David Tua was a monster. If he caught you at that left hook, you're gone. And Lennox Lewis, as far as I'm concerned, boxed a masterpiece in that fight. So
he did.
Yeah. He boxed a masterpiece. You know what I mean?
Very poised, and he didn't give too much up. You know, he knew better.
He didn't give nothing up, not too much, nothing at all up. He boxed a perfect fight.
Yeah, Tua was a monster, you know, and I had a special request. Ike Ibarabuchi, what did you think about that particular heavyweight sensation at the time?
Man, Ibuchi, it was just so sad that he had mental health issues. Yeah. So sad. Because I remember Frank Maloney, Lennox Lewis's old manager, who's now Kelly Maloney, who's had a sex change, right? But I remember at the time he was Frank, so I'm going to regard him as Frank. And Frank Maloney was saying, if Ikabuchi's going this way, I'll have Lennox Lewis going that way. Like, we don't really need that fight. But in hindsight, I believe Lennox Lewis would have beaten him. in hindsight. Right now, you know what I mean? Because you see, at the time, Ikabuchi was a monster. The way he knocked out Chris Bird in 5 rounds, you know what I mean? It was like the punch stat output at the time was the highest on ConcuBox for Ibuchi and Tua, because that was they just stood on top of each other and just threw punches.
12 rounds, right?
12 rounds. But like I said, unfortunately, the man had Ted Davies said all his sparred with Jack Johnson. You're taking liberties. But, you know, yeah, Ikabuchi was a very, very good fighter, man. Very, very good fighter. But like I said, so sad that he suffered from mental health issues.
Have you seen him lately?
He's a big dude now, isn't he? He's putting a lot of weight. Yeah, he's putting a lot of weight.
Had a great, and then he got
8 years in jail or 10 years. He's done a lot of time in jail.
Well, he got out, and then I think he moved to Jersey, and then he got expedited back for a charge he didn't know of, and he went back to wherever, I think Jersey or Philly, I think,
right,
and did time there for something. I think he's finally getting out sometime this year, for real this time. So it's been crazy for him, man, and I hate that time. You can't get time back. It's one thing you can never get back. Another request, wrapping it up. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder statue. What do you think about that? Everyone has different opinions.
I saw it with
Ricky Hatton.
Ricky Hatton. You know what? They got to sell a fight. And I believe that statue would help bring awareness. I know a lot of guys in America were upset about what happened, about the statue. But on the real, it was made by a British guy. They're gonna make it because he did it over, and I don't think the statue would have been made different because he was stopped on his feet and Kenny Bayless. It was simultaneous thing. The rope, the towel being thrown in, and Kenny Bayless jumping into the ring to jump in between the two to stop the fight. So that's too much artwork. So okay, then Tyson Fury had him on the floor twice. Let's just do a statue of Tyson Fury having him on the floor. And that's
right.
You know what I mean? Sad but true.
Because a lot of people, had what they had to say about it. Oh, this is that and the other. For the record, it was Ricky Hatton that put the flags on there. So he made it a national thing. It was 2 statues. Yeah, it was a statue of 2 people. I get it, but I think it was just for Ricky. I think it was for his own gratification, because in fact, that Ricky really went through some hell over here with Floyd and Manny when he came over here. So I guess it was this opportunity to be like, hey, we did it.
Well, you know what? There's no shame in Ricky Hatton losing to the best 2 fighters of his generation. And he lost to all-time greats, right?
Right.
And then he lost to Shevchenko, which we're not counting that because he done it on a sneak comeback, and it's because he loved the sport, and it was a fight that I had winning, and then he got stopped with a body shot. I'm not buying into that because that wasn't Ricky Hatton. That wasn't Ricky Hatton. He's the optimum best. I think the night Ricky Hatton, it was at 2005. The night Ricky Hatton beat Costa Zoo was a phenomenal night. He boxed out of his skin. He, he gave it his all. But I think after that fight, that took something out of Ricky Hatton.
Yeah, he kind of went down after that. That knockout really did it. I think he fell into some, in a depressed state. Do you wonder that'll happen to Fury if that happens? If Fury gets knocked out in that way, you think that could happen to him as well?
Listen, this is boxing. Anything can happen. And Deontay Wilder's proven that he can knock you down anyway. So twice in a fight. So you never know. This is boxing. But you know what I mean. if we were to be real about it, we'd have to pick Tyson Fury to win on points. But I don't think this is going to be an easy fight. Big up Bobby Wright. He's a real one, this guy is a real one, Bobby Wright.
Well, speaking of mental health issues, what do you feel, and this is the last question, wrapping it up, what do you feel about Ryan Garcia? Do you think the mental health issues was legit or not?
Of course I think it's legit. Why would anyone come out and say I'm
right?
You know what I mean? Why would someone want to lie and say I'm going through mental health issues? I think the mental health issues for him was genuine, and that he should be commended for coming out and saying that. You know what I mean? And then the next kid you got to get on your show, Keyshawn Davis. You know what I mean? Absolutely fabulous. He's going to Olympics now. Absolutely fabulous talent at lightweight, and he was on the Stamina for Soul YouTube channel on our Great Debate, a show that I do now by myself. We still do the Fight Is Right with me and Tundi. We do the fight alongs, but we're waiting for another big fight to come up. I think the next one we're going to be doing most probably will be Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. And we were just speaking, and Keyshawn Davis said, you know what, I admire guys like Tyson Fury and Ryan Garcia for coming out and addressing the fact that they suffer from mental health issues, because I once was in a mental institution. He said it so blasé. I said, hold up a second, we got to rewind there. So I think it's good because it makes other people now go and look and say, well, I've got issues. I've got issues that I need to address. Do you understand?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I hear what you're saying. It's just that, like King Mike Hall said, he was doing commercials for liquor right after the announcement that he had mental health issues.
Well, maybe I don't know, he's doing commercials for what? He was filming the commercials, or they let the commercials out just after he came out with it? I'm not sure.
I don't really know.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, I do believe that he's a young man as well, and he's under immense pressure. You know what I mean? He's like a social media god, right? So I think that don't help neither. And everybody prying and like that's pressure. That's pressure within itself. So I don't believe that he would lie about something like this, and I hope he wouldn't, because like mental health, and I know many people who suffer from mental health or who have mental health issues. I would not want it to be not real.
Yeah, I agree with you. My counterpunch to that is, I would hate for the idea of him lying about it, because that's something you don't joke about. You don't joke about that type of stuff. It's too many soldiers, military guys in the military, veterans that go through that each and every day, and then they battle with this each and every day, and it's a mental struggle to survive because of this illness. Now, yes, Tyson Fury came out with it. He was the corner. He was the pioneer of it. The only fear is, and the danger is for me, people using that as a scapegoat to do whatever they want to do. They feel they want to do.
There was a soccer player, because I'm talking to some guys in America, and a soccer player who turned professional boxer called Leon McKenzie. I think he became English super middleweight champion. And Leon McKenzie was like the first guy real to come out to say, like, I suffer from mental health. And he battles hard now with his he runs a charity now as well, fighting mental health and depression. So he was like the first guy that come out before Tyson Fury. But Tyson Fury was heavyweight champion of the world, and he came and said, I'm suffering from mental health issues, and this happened, and blah, 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 and this, that, and the third. And it becomes even more so serious when somebody like that, comes and says that. So, it's brought awareness to it, and it's helped other people go out to address if they believe that there's something not too right. So, to go back to what you were originally saying, I don't think that somebody would come out and say, I'm suffering from mental health issues for clickbait, or to get the adulation. of the fans, and so I don't believe that. I don't want to believe that either.
Right. Well, I just hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
I look at people's actions and what he did. He was in a very good fight with Javier Fortuna, and just like, for example, Teofimo Lopez, right? Teofimo Lopez, he has COVID, contracted COVID. Therefore, hey, the Gambosos fight has been postponed. Now, it's been postponed again due to the health. Now, I get that. That's a postponement. Ryan Garcia canceled that fight. Now he's getting prepared to fight someone else. Why not Javier Fortuna? So I seen what you did. Yeah, you had problems. I get it. But then you canceled that fight. Now you're fighting someone else instead of Javier Fortuna. That's the problem I have with it. It makes me suspicious because I'm like, well, okay, pick back up where you started. Don't fight no one else. Fight Javier.
You know what? The Fortuna fight was going to be a hard fight, and I think he had to. He's just coming back off of admitting about these mental health issues. So maybe he's saying, well, this is a hard fight, and maybe you ain't going to be in the right mental state or the right capacity of mind to say, right, I'm ready for this fight, per se. So let's come and get an easier fight. And then, you know what? If Fortuna's here afterwards, we're going to take care of him.
Well, I hope that's the case because, that's what, you see a person do. Like, hey, I'm coming back. I'm doing my comeback. But then I got out of a hard fight.
Yeah.
So I can understand a lot of people saying, a lot of pragmatic people are saying, you know what? You have mental health issues. You get out of that fight. You cancel that fight. Then abracadabra. I'm okay. I'm coming back, people. But I'm not fighting Javier Fortuna.
Yeah.
So, but I'm with you. I don't want him to do that. Because see, if he can do that, that means other people will start doing that. Then that creates a trend. Yeah. Hey, man, I had health issues during that time of me fighting this harder fighter. But hey, I'm back 3 weeks later. I'm fine now. I've done, I've had some classes. I've done what I'm supposed to do. Now I'm back, but I'm not fighting that guy. I'm fighting somebody else. It makes it too convenient for me. And I don't like that because that's a real thing. It's nothing made up.
What you're trying to say is that you're kind of doubting. Are you doubting the allegation of mental health?
No. Well, yeah, I'm doubting the mental health because of the actions that he done based on what he decided to do. See, if he would have came back and said, you know what, I'm postponing the fight with Javier Fortuna because I really want to give the fans the fight we want to see versus, hey, I'm going through this. I need to deal with this. My health is important, which it is. But I'm not fighting Javier Fortuna. But I'm going to fight somebody else. See, my only thing is fight Javier Fortuna because it's not Javier Fortuna's fault that you have problems. Whatever the problem is.
Yeah, right? All right, but check this one out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's just say he was meant to fight Fortuna and he broke his hand in training.
Right.
Yeah. Remember, it's not a world title fight. It's a good damn fight. It's not a world title fight. He breaks his hand. And then he realizes, you know what, my hand's broken. So let's give it time to heal. And I'm going to go take a fight now. But let me just take a lesser fight than this tough fight that was on the table for me. Would you fault him for that?
No, that's fine. Right. That's absolutely fine.
So a man said, listen, I've got mental health issues. The pressure and everything else has come down on me. You know what? Let me kind of chest back for a little bit. Which he's done. And just taking this next fight. Hopefully comes through victorious. And then, the Fortuna fight is going to be different.
Well, fair enough. Fair play to him. If he fights him, I will have nothing else to say. My doubt will be erased because I know he's fighting who he intentionally fought. Because the only reason I think that he would make something, if he's doing it, I don't know what he's going through. But if he fights Fortuna, if he does fight Fortuna eventually, I'll be okay with that because then I'll know, okay, well, you know what? Maybe he didn't want to deal with that right at that point, but he did have desire to fight Fortuna. just like he planned. You know, because sometimes you can catch certain fights and be like, you know what? I don't know if I really want to do this right now. So how do I get out of it? I hope that's not the case.
I don't think that was the case. I don't think that was the case, but you know. Well, you know what? I don't think it was the case, but also I hope that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, but the reason why I hope it's not the case is because there's doubt. And when there's doubt, that means, hey, people doubt that he is in this state. So if other people can doubt that he's in that state, that grows an idea for other people to do the same thing. You know, hey, man, I'm not feeling right mentally right now. I got a lot going on. My mental health is at stake. Therefore, I can't do this. Like, I don't want that to start, because once people start thinking, hey, it's okay to use that as an excuse, not saying that he is, okay, not saying Tyson Fury wasn't, because Tyson Fury said, hey, there was times I felt like killing myself. You don't play about that. You don't play about that. When someone, hey, talks that type of stuff, you listen. You pay attention.
Yeah.
But I just don't want it to be in a situation where other people are starting to use that when they shouldn't. You know, I think each case by case basis, it should be taken seriously and it should be truthful. So I hope that he is. And then, you know, a lot of people are good at faking things they really have problems on. So that's, you know, that's another thing altogether. So I get what he's saying, and I hear what he's saying. I just hope he fights for a tuna somewhere down the line, because that would be the only reason I would see for him lying about it, because that wasn't a fight. Yeah. I'm not wanting that to happen. But, brother, it's been real. It's been great once again. Tune in for The Fight Is Right with the knowledge, Spencer Fearon and Tunde, of course. I don't know, you guys, you want to answer some more questions, or we're good to go?
Yeah, I'm good. I'll give you, what's time now? I'll give you like 2 more minutes. And then, I'm kind of knackered. It's like 10 o'clock in UK time right now. But I'm kind of feeling a bit tired. But a long day as well. So, yeah.
Okay, let's see. I don't think it's healthy for any of these young fighters. All right. Terry Tibbs, I don't think it's healthy for any of these young fighters to be around Oscar De La Hoya with all his coke abuse and wearing. Oh, God. I tried that. Yeah, well, no, I don't think that has a lot to do with that, because there's a lot of people that have substance abuse. You know, let's see. Let's see the Londoner. Now, do you think Tank is ducking these big names?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, have you not seen the other fighters that he's fighting when he was down at super feather? No, I don't think he's ducking these big names. But like what Floyd Mayweather said, he's like, we're gonna keep everything in house. I mean, we have a roster of fighters at PBC, we have a roster of fighters at Mayweather Promotions that we're gonna keep it all in house. This is how the game, unfortunately is going, right? And Al Heyman has his niche market that he's saying, well, we're just going to carry on doing what we do, and carry on building his roster and his resume. I don't think Tank Gervonta Davis himself has made a conscious decision to avoid any fight. I think he's good enough to mix with any fight that you think is going to be good at 135 or even 130. So, no, I don't think Tank is avoiding anybody. I think maybe his management team is saying, we ain't giving these other guys no money. But Tank is good enough to mix with anybody in the lightweight division. Let's just call it as it is. And when you got punching power like what he possesses, then it's kind of ludicrous to think that, he'll be kind of hiding away from everyone.
What do you think the cap for Gervonta Tank Davis will be? Weight-wise.
Weight-wise?
Yeah. What do you think
I think 140 is the cap weight. because he didn't even look comfortable at 140. Barrios gave him a lot of trouble, right? And he used his height, his range really well. You know what I mean? I think he was under very good orders, very good tutelage under Virgil Hunter in how to administer his game plan. But when you got punching power like Gervonta Davis, who is technically sound as well, when he opens up on you, it's your free paper's burnt to a cinder, and that's what happened. So, you know what I mean? Props to him. It was like in the round when Floyd came to him and goes like, "Look, man, you're down on points, bro. You know what I mean? I'm being real with you. I'm your guy. I'm just being real with you. You're down." And just how he turned it around, then scored the 2 knockdowns in the round after he goes out there, it was kind of reminiscent of, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard, Angelo Dundee. What was that? September '81 against Tommy Hearns. You're blowing it now, son. You're blowing it. And then Leonard bites down his gumshoes and comes out, throws that incredible combination in the 13th round, and then stops Tommy Hearns in the 14th round. It was very, very similar, like that real pep talk where someone's just being really I'm just being real with you. That's great for TV as well. That's a really great soundbite there. You know what I mean? And like, okay, I got to step this up. And he did. He stepped it up, and he came out victorious.
Okay, last question from the Londoner. What order do you have? Tio, Tank, Haney, and Loma?
I've got Tio at number 1 because he beat the alleged pound for pound number 1, right? So I got Tio at number 1. I would have Loma at number 2. I'd have Tank at number 3 and Haney at number 4.
Nice. Haney at number 4.
How you got it?
I have Tio, Loma, Haney, then Tank.
Okay, why would you? All right.
Okay.
You got Haney above Tank. So if Haney and Tank fall, who you got?
Haney and Tank. Ooh. Yeah. No, I think I got Tank. I think I got Tank winning.
All right, but at this present moment in the lightweight division,
at this present moment, I mean, they haven't fought yet, but
right. But but you just said you put Tank last. You got Haney above Tank. Why have you got Haney above Tank?
Due to the resume. The resume from Lenatis. Tank ain't fought anyone like Lenatis. Bodies don't count. He's untested. He's like a Hergovic in retrospect. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, he's a good guy, but he wasn't tested. He's like Michael Hunter beating Hergovic, right? So I wouldn't put Tank. I would put Tank there because Tank, like he said, they're in house. They're building this guy's. I'm
going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why I've got Tank. Why I've got Tank above Haney.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's been a multiple weight world champion, and that's the only reason.
That makes sense.
Because I could see Haney outpointing Tank. Seriously.
Well, you have Leo Santa Cruz, you have Pedraza.
Pedraza win was the next thing. Pedraza win. The Pedraza win was an absolute fantastic win because he beat Pedraza better than what Lomachenko did.
He did that,
and that's when you saw you knew you was watching something scarily special. The way that he performed.
Mm-hmm. But it's Pedraza or Lenatis. How would you compare Pedraza to Lenatis as fighters?
No. Linares the better fighter.
See, that's why.
But Linares got knocked out.
He did.
Going into that fight.
But he got knocked out by who?
Some little Billy man. So
what, in 140, right? When they 140?
No, I think that I don't know. He was on the DAZN show, but he got knocked out. Then he got 2 wins in, and then he got the fight with Haney, but he got knocked out. So, and Haney didn't come anywhere remotely close to knocking him out, but it was a very good performance when you think about it, because he beat the boxer at his game, regardless that Linares is long in the tooth. Linares is a superb fighter. I've been fortunate enough to see him fight quite a few times when he comes to the UK against Kevin Mitchell and against Crotter. Very good fighter. You know what I mean? Very good fighter. Michael Scholes says Haney outpoints Tank quite easily. Yeah. and he's got a phenomenal defense. He has got a phenomenal defense, but he did still get caught in the 10th round against Jorge Linares. But there's no shame in that because Jorge Linares is a hell of a fighter. And apart from that bit there where he got tagged with a shot, that was a superb performance. Absolutely superb performance. And you got to give him all the credit in the world.
Yeah, I noticed this from Michael Shows. He didn't put Garcia in there. It was just, everyone. It wasn't Ryan. So and then I think Ryan has a pony in the show, but that wasn't.
You know what? I rate Garcia's hand speed, but I think it was on your show. I'm saying like if it was on your show. I'm saying if Luke Campbell can knock you over, you want to stay away from Tank.
Right.
And that's the truth.
Yeah, I think he he got up, he recovered quickly, but then the whole idea is you got hit with a guy like that guys like Linares, took punches from Luke very well, so that tells you the durability of these guys or the lack of that Ryan Garcia had. Of course he didn't see the punch, but that just comes with experience. But no, he doesn't want to get hit by Tank.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But brother, I thank you for coming on once again.
Nah, man, you're always a blessing. You're a real one, and I like that because I've got to be slipping and everything else because I don't want to get counterpunched.
No, absolutely, man. In the counterpunch, it can be counterpunched. There is an exception to the rule. It's a cruel world. So, it's nothing wrong with living by the sword and dying by the sword. In this case, the punch.
100%.
But you guys stay tuned for The Fight Is Right. And he will be. When will your show be on, bro?
We're going to be doing The Fight Is Right. Well, in fact, we're going to be doing the Great Debaters on the YouTube channel, on the Stamina for Sale YouTube channel. Go log on for that, and it'll be myself, and I think it's me and Paulie Manaji going next Monday. I'm looking forward to doing that. Me and Paulie been chopping it out for years on Big Sky platforms and stuff like that. So it'll be nice to be chopping it up with him. So me and Paulie Manaji are going to be chopping it up next week Monday.
Nice. There'll be a lot of knowledge in that day.
All right, bro. You take care. God bless, man.
God bless you, man. Take care. And everybody on the chat, you guys been counterpunched. Have a good day and a great night. Peace.